Hello, hello. Is anybody there? Knock once for yes, twice for no. Hello, hello, hello. It is now 20 to 12, 20 minutes to midnight, UK time. Is anybody there? Can give us a 5-5 if you can hear us. Excuse me. Can you hear us? Yay, I'm back. So the thing had got knocked off because Zizzy, my little sound operator, had knocked it off, and it took Jim. It's not on yet. Jim says he can't hear us. I'm live now. Am I live on YouTube, guys? Can anybody tell us? Zizi the cat. So I haven't gone multi-streamed, have I? I am? I'm on YouTube? Why is it not coming through? What the hell is going on? Is it retrograde? Yeah, I think I'm going delirious. So YouTube's working. Thanks, Jim. Big thumbs up to Jim. Thank you, Jim, in Australia. My techno man. Thank you. Jim saved the day. Zizi with our naughty little paws. Okay. Thanks to Jim, the techno man. We're up and running. See, it always helps to have friends. Not, I would say in high places, but in my case, friends who are on the other side of the world who can help you out. That's great. Thank you. I'm just saying thank you to him. Have a good day. Because it's, Monday morning over there. Thank you. Have a good day. Isn't it strange how we're all on different timelines? What a weird world we're living in. So, guys, I'm a little late tonight, so we'll probably do an hour show, which I was planning on doing anyway, because I'm up early in the morning for appointments. But good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you all are around the world. Tonight is prepper night, and we are going to look into what I've been seeing and how we can protect ourselves. Excuse me. Hello there, Debbie. So I want to say hi to YouTubers, hi to Twitchers. Welcome, everyone. Tonight is important, right? It's something that I've been massively into since 2017. And it's prep. It's about talking about prepping and how we can save lives. And I strongly urge to sit and watch this if you can. All right. I feel I'm going to just give you my tools of how to stay prepared. Just in case there is a grey zone event what comes in, and I'm going to talk about what that is. And also cyber attacks and also power outages. I just think it's very important that we need to do what we need to do. Now, Amanda Lewis on YouTube, it just says that the sound is very low. Can you give us? And Linda, I can barely hear you under my headphones. Hello, hello. Tell us if you can hear us. Your sound is low. Oh no. That is so weird. So you can't hear us hardly. So Maisie Face here says that the sound is good. I can't turn up the volume any more than what it is. You're still low sound. Carla says the sound sounds great. So maybe it's for the ones who are having problems, come back out and come back in again. Because I've just had the techno man onto it, Jim, and he said it's fine. So maybe it's come back out and come back in, and then you'll be able to get it sorted. When your voice gets closer to the mic, it gets better. That's strange. Let me get a cup of tea. Okay, so yeah, it's very important that I think that we all come together as a community, and I feel very lucky that I'm hosting this community. It's definitely one of them nights, isn't it? Just before I came out the first time around to do the live, Zizi pooped all over the mat in the kitchen, and it was the runs, diarrhea. And I just thought, oh my God. So she's like, I don't know what's wrong with her. I think she drank some milk, what she shouldn't have had. So I had to clean that up. I had to chuck the rug out. The rug's in the garden. It's gone the journey. It's just one of them days, I think. It's not even retrograde, is it? But you know what they say about shit? They say shit for luck, don't they? Okay, so before we start, I want to say a big thank you to a lovely lady called Sue Marshall. Sue Marshall sent me a lovely package in the post. Can you hear us all right, guys? Give us a 5-5 if you can hear us. And it was a box of jewellery that she makes, and I just want to say a big thank you, Sue. You haven't put like your address or an email or telephone number, so this is why I'm giving you a shout out on here. But thank you so much. Beautiful handmade jewellery. I can't really show you because it's upstairs. I think some of it, yeah, it's upstairs. But I will. Is the box there? Actually, the box is there, but the jewellery's upstairs. Yeah. So I just want to say a big shout out to Sue Marshall. It's really lovely. Thank you so much. It's a hobby that she does with making her own jewellery and stuff like that. Shit for luck, yes. Can you shout? Hello, hello. I don't know what's wrong. Okay. So yeah, I think that what we need to do is we need to understand that it's also spring in the air for the UK. So, it's spring clean and all of that, and it's about going through our larder and seeing what's in date, what's out of date, and getting prepared. All right. So before I get my list up, of course I'm not prepared tonight because I'm on 15% here, so it could go down. Sound's gone again. Isn't that so strange? So some people saying they can hear us, and some people say they can't. Sounds fine. That is so weird. Let me just shake the bell. Now, normally we do the spiritualist church, don't we? And then I say, I ring the bell and bring the angels in. But this is a different night tonight. All right? I'm shaking the bell just to clear some negative energy. Let's bring in Archangel Michael, Uriel, Raphael and Gabriel to clear the energy and to send healing out to my cat. Everybody in this room, in this house and in this circle tonight, if you are needing healing, protection, prayers, write the name in the comment section and you will receive the healing or the protection that you need. Okay. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Let me get this up. Hokey cokey. So what is a grey zone event? And I'm going to talk about that. Let me just get this up. It's getting a little louder. It's really weird, that. Okay. So a grey zone event is a situation where everything just goes dark. Everything, the lights go out, everything. But at the same time, there is something else happening. Okay? So it could be, I'm not saying like a WAR event or it could be, there's two things happening at the same time. And it's not fear-mongering. It's more to do with being prepared. Okay? So in the UK alone, we have had our government telling us to get prepared with radios and at least a couple of months' food. So that's not fear-mongering, to somebody who's just said that in the audience. It's about getting prepared. So it's about being one step of the game, one step ahead of what could happen, because you don't want to be caught out where you're sitting in the dark, okay? Or you don't want to be caught out where you could be not being able to heat some water to make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. So they talk about this in the Bible, is what Nancy's put here on YouTube. 3 days of darkness is told in the Bible. I've been talking about this for a while, where I feel it's as if I can see a lot of a situation where everything just goes dark, and then it's definitely to do with cyber as well, because people don't even know what time it is unless they've got the normal windy up clock. Okay, so it could be a situation where the internets go down, that type of thing. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I'm hoping that everything will be fine. But unfortunately, when you're a psychic, you see these situations. So this is why I opened this group in the first place, so I could spread the news so that we can be one step ahead of the curve, type of thing. So there's a lot of people in the audience like me who are middle-aged, and of course you've got younger parents, and you've got people who have children, and then you've got the older generation. So for me, I've still got both my parents, and obviously, you need to know these things for, when you've got parents in the 80s and it's cold and they need to eat something, you've got to be able to make sure that you can heat something for them. Okay? So we're in a stage in this world now where there's a lot of people wanting to go off grid. My oldest son and daughter-in-law have actually gone off grid, and big thumbs up to them. But not everybody can afford that. And it's a big thing to do, okay? So not everybody has the, something like, say, a log burner, or they can have a generator. Not everybody can do that, and a lot of people are city people like myself. Well, I'm a little towny person, live in a village, but a lot of people are like city people or live in apartments. So this is why I want to talk about this and how we can make the best of what we've got. And if you go back to like the Blitz in London, what my grandparents went through, they survived. So we will be okay. Okay? So the thing what we've done now is we are dependent on the internet, and we are dependent on, everyone's going on social media and stuff like that. And everybody, myself, because I work on internet now. So it is going to be a shock for me if the internet does go down. But I've seen this vision for a long time. I feel like everything's dark. Planes can't take off for some unknown reason. And there's something going on with the air. I've seen this vision. And I actually do see military on the street. But it's short-lived, whatever it is. Okay? It's definitely short-lived. So to be prepared is your own level of, say, like the lady next door might need to be more prepared than what you are. It's what you can afford and what you feel safe and happy with. Does that make sense? If you know what I mean. So for me, for example, I've got cats and they're my pets. So I would always make sure that I've got a stock up of pet food in the house for them. But not everybody has pets. Okay. But we are living in very trying times on earth. Now I'm going to read something to you that I wrote, because I do a lot of medium, transmedium, automatic writing. So I had written this down and I had said that my vision is clear, the grey zone event is coming. And when this takes place, we need to go inside and shut the door. Stay safe, stay ready, stay spiritually grounded, and stay vigilant. We will be okay. And as we say, us Brits, keep calm and carry on. Okay? So I'm going to start with the basics. Okay? The basic emergency essentials. And some of these things that you can pick up really cheap at car boot sales, on eBay. Luckily for me, I already had a big old-fashioned radio anyway. You'd laugh at it. It's about that big. It's like a big ghetto blaster from the 80s. And, I just need to get the big chunky batteries to put in. Okay. So the basic emergency essentials. Battery-powered or wind-up radio. This is what our government said. They keep telling me this. They keep saying you've got to have one of these. Because if anything goes down, you'll be able to get information up on a radio. All right? So you can stay informed during outages. Spare batteries. My advice is, if you're buying them from the supermarket, they're always a lot more expensive. But if you shop online, I know a lot of people don't like Amazon, but I'm always on bloody Amazon, me. And I got a load of batteries, really, really reasonable, really cheap. So I definitely would recommend checking it out. But there'll be other places where you can get them as well. So batteries, spare batteries, stock a variety of for torches and radios, etc. Okay, you can put them in like a box or whatever. These are a handy one, and is battery lanterns or candles. So you need a safe, reliable light source. So not everybody can use candles. I like candles, but I've got two naughty cats. I've got a Bengal cat, and she would just, get up to mischief if I had the candles on. So I very rarely put candles on now, but I definitely recommend the battery lanterns. All right. And you can pick them up really reasonable if you shop online. Also, this is something that I do, and it's really reasonable and really, really cheap as well, is, the fairy lights that you would have at Christmas. If you can get them with the batteries, you can put them in with the batteries. And I actually had them on at Christmas. I'm going to go and put some more on, actually. Put the batteries back in again. And I wrapped the fairy lights up my banister of my staircase. And it was just a lovely light. So it meant that there was light. It was like a lovely cool light going all the way up the staircase. And it just avoids, basically, anybody falling down the stairs or whatever. So I will be getting some battery lights, fairy lights for my mother, and wrapping them around her staircase. So it means that if there is a power outage, you can just switch on the fairy lights. Battery lanterns, you can get them really reasonable. I've actually got some in my Amazon basket. All right. Now, you're going to laugh at this one, right? But depending where you're living in the world, I know that we're coming into British summertime soon, but it can still get cool over here. But this is a must, especially for old people, or if you want to, anything, hot water bottle. And you can keep warm without power. So you're probably going to think, well, how would I be able to heat the water? Well, that's where you get a camping stove, and you can pick them up really reasonable on eBay or Amazon. Shop about, all right, with the little canisters. But also I would recommend getting a great big thermal flask. The bigger the better. And because we're living in very strange times, what I've started doing is, and I've said this before, is see if you're living in an apartment and you haven't got the money even to go out and buy a little camping stove. So I've got something in my eye. It always happens this when I come live. A thermal flask, you can pick them up for about a £5, all right, or even a couple of quid. Make sure every day, maybe it's before the evening or late afternoon, that you're filling your thermal flask up with water from the kettle, okay? Because then if we have a power outage, at least then you've got hot water there, which will stay for quite a while in that thermal flask, and it means that you can make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Do you see what I mean? I was also looking on eBay, and I'm very tempted to get them. And you can actually get these walkie-talkies. Has anybody in the audience had a walkie-talkie? Right? You can pick them up really reasonable. All right? And I was thinking of getting some walkie-talkies, so I was getting them for my mother, who lives on her own, just lives a mile down the road. And I thought, well, that might help her. Do you know what I mean? So let's have a look. And I want you to comment on the link as well what you would do, you know what I mean? But the thermal flask, I think, is a good idea. So it just means that, and then if nothing happens, you can always still use the hot water. Say for washing your dishes or whatever. So a camping stove and gas canister. I picked mine up for about 30 quid on Amazon. And it's actually a double tiered one. And it's got a little grill where you can make some toast. You know, so it just means that it's something, even if you can heat like a tin of soup, it's something to keep you warm. Okay. So you can cook food in boiled water on that, okay? There is loads of things going on TikTok, on YouTube, where people are making their own cookers with tea light candles. I don't know how long it would take, but you know, I just think that for the price of what you can pick up for one of them, you know, the little camping cookers, it's definitely worth investing in. Yeah, my cat's fine. She's absolutely fine. She drank some cream and it gave her the runs. Basically, she's fine. And she's in heat, so she's not very happy with herself. Okay. What else have we got? Matches and lighters. And obviously store them safely in a waterproof container. Okay? So these are things that really you should always have in the house anyway. Okay? I've been in this house. Adam's nearly 30 and he was 18 months. So about 28 years I've been in this house. And I would say all the time I've been in this house, maybe we've had a handful of power outages, but they've only been for a few hours. Okay. So, matches and lighters. Okay. This is a must. And many would forget this, right? And it's all well and good if you've got a fancy electric one, but go back to the manual can opener. All right. It's essential for all tin food. All right. Right, you're going to laugh at this one because obviously when we had the COVID lockdowns, everybody was going out buying their toilet rolls. Sanitary products, daily hygiene, must-haves, okay? So, toilet roll. All right. Toilet roll. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go out there and start like panic buying and buying loads of bloody bog roll. I remember talking to this client, she was in the States, and we were talking about it, and I says, what is it with people? Why are they going out buying loads of toilet roll? It's crazy. And she goes, oh, do you want to see mine? And she opened her airing cupboard. She was in the States somewhere. And I was like gobsmacked. It was like from top to bottom, all the shelves was just full of packets of toilet roll. I couldn't believe it. She's probably watching this and laughing. Okay. Toiletries. Toothpaste, soap, deodorant, if you use it. And then the reason why I say it, if you use it, because, you know, I've done a lot of research into stuff like this, and a lot of these things can cause cancer, breast cancer, because they've got parabens in. But that's something else. We'll have another night on all of that. Deodorant, shampoo, and feminine hygiene. So obviously, if you've got a big family, you're gonna, you know, it's gonna be a bit more expensive than just if you're living on your own. Do you know what I mean? Now this is interesting. You can pick them up quite reasonable, but I always think if you can put it together yourself, it works out cheaper. And just put them in a tin or whatever. Is a first aid kit, which contains bandages, plasters, antiseptic gloves, tweezers, that type of thing. Okay. And then I would say over-the-counter medicines, flu medicines, painkillers, and antihistamines. Now, I do that I make sure that everything's always in for every winter anyway. I've got a medicine cabinet, should I say, in my downstairs loo, in like the cloakroom. So I always make sure everything's stocked up. Do you know what I mean? And I did a lot of research when I was going through the cancer treatments, you know, so somebody says, oh, you take a Benadryl before you have your treatment, and it actually works. It actually works, you know. But that's another story. Thank God that's nearly all over and done with. But yeah, antihistamines is a must-have, and flu meds and painkillers. And depending where you live and where you go to buy them, you know, because, I mean, the likes of paracetamol and ibuprofen, you can pick up quite reasonable, you know what I mean? We've got something over here in the UK called Poundland. You know, I don't know what you have over there in the States, but Poundland, you know, you can pick up things quite reasonable. Now, sterilising tablets for cleaning babies' bottles, utensils, or water. Okay. So, and then I've written down here, now I don't know if you can get them over there, but a bottle of Dettol. I love Dettol because you can use it as an antiseptic, but you can also use it as a disinfectant, and you dilute it. It's like a brown liquid, or antibacterial disinfectant for hygiene and surface cleaning. All right. Yeah, EMs, but be careful if you're buying the ibuprofen from China. I really don't know where our meds come from over here in the UK, but they're rather safe. Do you know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean. Dollar Tree, yeah. I would have thought that the Dollar Tree is a bit like Poundland over here. Yeah. So it's getting them each week by week as well. If you haven't got enough money to buy it all at once, because it can get rather expensive, it's like, say, well, this week I'll do the meds and the candles, and the next week I'll try and do some tin stuff. Or each time that you're going shopping, like, try to pick up extra bits if there's bargains, you know what I mean? I'm somebody who collects coupons. I'm a coupon girl. And I'm on this site where you can get all this freebie stuff. You want to have a look at, guys, right? And you can, like, get all sorts of stuff, and they just send it to you. Like, sort of free this and free that. It's worth looking into. As my nana would say, shy Ben's getting out. Beggars can't be choosers, but, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get out, do you? So, you know, shy Bens don't get out. Baby items if needed. Formula, nappies, wipes. Okay. That's another strange one, isn't it? My lucky boy, right? He'd be cringing at saying this, but he had the old terry nappies, not like the disposable nappies. So I would, with a pin, like the old-fashioned nappies, I did them with him. Then I went on and I used the Huggies, or I can't remember the other one I used. But anyway, but he wasn't terry nappies. Better for the environment, isn't it? Right, so what else? Right, pet food supplies, food, litter, and leads for your animals. Or, if you don't want to put them on a lead, and, if you've got cats, it's funny because I've got 2 cats. One cat would go in a litter box, in a carrying case box. The other one would have to be put on a lead because she's like a bloody dog. All right? She's bigger than some dogs. Do you know what I mean? But leads for your animals, food and litter. So again, it's shopping about, and because the dog food has gone up in price, everything's doubled in price or tripled. You can only do your best. And I think it's about rotating round, isn't it? Now this is a nice one. Comfort food, comfort items, chocolate, peanut butter, soft socks, herbal teas. But not everybody likes herbal teas. I like herbal teas, but sometimes you just want to have a hot chocolate. It depends, it's shopping about. Have a look in Dollar Tree or Poundland. If the ones where you can just put the hot water in and you've got like a hot chocolate. Peanut butter, chocolate. And this is a nice one as well. Entertainment. Because when the going gets tough, and if we're sitting there for hours on end, people are going to go crazy. People will go crazy because there's too many people who are addicted to social media. Oh yeah, you can't beat an old pot noodle like Dave, definitely. Just get them in the States where you just put I've actually got some up there actually. You just put the hot water in and you've got a pot noodle. Entertainment. Puzzle books. I'll have to get these for Adam. Colouring books. Crayons and playing cards. Board games is another one. And again, if you go into like the charity shops, you can pick them up really, really cheap. Do you know what I mean? This is a good one. You're going to laugh at this one. And if you can try and invest in a good sherry or a whiskey for your larder, and it works for shock, comfort, or a warm nightcap. Okay. So that list there was basic emergency essentials. So you're going to get people who will want to know you can get solar powered chargers for your phone or your laptops. I've looked online, different prices, but you know what? I'm going to embrace it. I don't know yet. Maybe I might get something solar powered. But I think if it was just a few days, I think it would do you the world of good anyway, just to be offline. Just embrace it. So it's a personal opinion. Do you see what I mean? If you want to go and get into your chargers for your phone type of thing. This is the next one, right? This is food. Protein and nutrient-rich foods. Let me get a cup of tea. I'll link all my Facebooks and everything, in the email and everything afterwards in the description of this video, okay? Right, I'm going to quickly go through this. Now, it depends, because not everybody likes meat. Not everybody likes tin food. And not everybody is lucky enough to have a lavish garden full of cabbages and, carrots. You can't beat fresh food. But hey ho, when the going gets tough, Don't knock tinned food. It's what they did in the war. My mother was actually telling us that it was quite the thing that they had in the war. I don't know if it was the same in the US, but over here in the UK, that they would have peaches and cream with bread and butter. And it was so balanced, it helped them. Have you heard of that one before, guys? Tinned peaches, tinned evaporated milk, and then bread and butter they had to have with the peaches and the cream. Okay. Protein and nutrient-rich foods. Janie Angels knows some folk who still do that. Tinned meats, corned beef, ham, chicken, stews and hot dogs. Again, it depends on who's in the house and who likes what. Because there's no point buying something if you don't like it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what I would pick out of that is I would pick out, well, possibly hot dogs because I'm naughty. Corned beef, definitely. Ham. I'll probably pick them all because I'm just a gannet. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, tinned fish. Then this is what I like. Tuna, salmon, sardines and mackerel. Remember, this is emergency food. This is something, but it's not just about if we had a cyber attack or if we had a grey zone event. It can still be there for a rainy day. And mackerel is actually very good for you, right? Tinned beans, kidney beans, lentil, baked beans and chickpeas. And it's a good form of protein. Peanut butter. Dried meats, beef jerky or cured sausages. So we're getting into survival food now. This is a nice one. Nuts. Right? Protein packed and full of healthy fats. Try to get unsalted if you can. But I do like salted. But it just depends. You know what I mean? If you don't like them without the salt, what's the point in buying them? Do you know what I mean? That's the way I see it. But low sodium is better. Carbohydrates, main meal staples. Dried pasta, right? Like spaghetti, macaroni, that type of thing, etc. And you can get, and no doubt they'll have them in the Poundland and the Dollar Tree and all of that, where you just put the hot water in a bit like the pot noodles, and then you've got yourself a meal. Okay. That type of thing. Rice and whole grains. You can get rice pots nowadays and things you can, white rice, brown rice, couscous is another one where you just put the water on. Okay. Pasta sauces, tomato, creamy pesto, easy meal bases. I like tin tuna and it's a great mix with pasta or rice. This is a good one, right? But not everybody likes the taste of them, but they're all right. Right? Tinned potatoes. All you do is heat and serve them, or you can even eat them cold. No peeling needed, nothing. You just open the can with your can opener, tinned potatoes. Hey presto, tinned potatoes. Tinned soup. Now, I'm a lass what makes a lot of soup. I've got a soup maker. I've got all sorts of pots and pans. I'm always cooking. I'm always making soup. All right. Be it either vegetable or whatever, broth. I make a lot of broth, that type of thing. But tin soup, don't knock it. All right. Especially over here, we have the Heinz. I don't know if you have the Heinz over there. Not that I'm promoting Heinz, but there's no better than Heinz tomato soup or Heinz chicken soup. Campbell's is all right as well. Okay, so tin soup, tomato, chicken, vegetable, chunky stews. And you're supposed to keep rotating them round, all right? That's something that I'm still learning. I need to go through my cupboard this week. Canned pasta, like spaghetti. It's quick and comforting, all right? Crackers. Now, I don't know if you've got the problem one I've got, but obviously I've got a son who's autistic, and you'll open a packet of biscuits, which I'm refusing to buy now, by the way, and then you leave them and then they go soft. And I say, why you open that? You could have had them in like the tin container. So I've started buying stuff which is individually wrapped, and you can get the same with the crackers as well. Or you can get the sealed bags where you can put them in, you know what I mean, so they don't go dry. Or you can get like sort of containers to put it in. Okay, excuse me. Dried cereal and oats. I've got a lot of breakfast bars. Breakfast or quick energy snacks. Okay, granola bars, power bars, and it's handy and energy boosting. Okay, dried fruits, raisins, banana chips, cranberries, and apricots. Now, I don't know about you guys, but what would I eat out there? Probably just the raisins and the apricots. Powdered milk. Now, I've done a lot of research on that. The best one's the Nestle one, but the Tesco's does that, or you probably get in Costco. It comes in like a big yellow tin. Well, it used to be in a big yellow tin. I've tried the different powdered milks what you can get from the supermarket, and they're not so nice, but it's better than nothing. Do you know what I mean? So for your tea, your cereal, your cooking, powdered milk. Salt, sugar, and honey, and obviously maple syrup. Maple syrup is very, very expensive, and honey is now as well. But yeah, if you can get a good honey maple syrup, you'll be all right. Okay. Right. Water sanitation. Drinking water. Apparently, per person per day should drink 4 litres. So they're telling you, well, our government's telling you, to aim for at least 7 to 10 days of drinking water. It depends where you store it as well. Oh yeah, beets. I forgot about beets. Obviously cleaning cloths, multi-purpose for hygiene. Right, airtight containers, like Tupperware or whatever. When you get the coffee, like the coffee with the glass, Kenco does it, and it's got like a really suction top on. They make great sort of containers. I just wash them out. I've got my flour in them and my turmeric. So you don't have to go out and buy a load of stuff, you know what I mean? You can get stuff that where you buy coffee and you could just wash it, put in the dishwasher or wash it, and then you've got a nice tight, airtight container for putting something in it. So, with the airtight containers, it keeps dried food fresh and safe. Because sometimes you can get little beetles on the house and stuff like that, right? So you're supposed to rotate and check expiry dates regular. So we've got to ensure that our food includes protein, carbs, fats, and vitamins. So maybe we need to also stock up on vitamin tablets, that type of thing. So if you have and you're lucky enough to have a garden, or even I've seen people grow all sorts on balconies and apartment blocks and that. Start growing, all right? Now, I've got obviously a big vegetable patch in my garden, and everything just died last year, right? So I don't know if it was something they were doing, spraying in the air or whatever. So it's even better if you can get a greenhouse, or you can get these ones, like the plastic ones. And obviously if you're living in a very windy area, you could like pin it to the wall or whatever. So Petra's just put here, Tupperware can store longer in the fridge. Oh, I didn't know that, Petra. So comfort foods is obviously for boosting your morale. Torches. Torches is a good one. So say, for example, I'm going to go back to this. So say like if you've got, my mum lives in a big house on her own, right? So obviously if the lights went off over there, it would be very daunting, okay? So I was thinking of going over there and maybe buying us some, get the hurricane lanterns and whatever, and maybe wrapping some fairy lights around a banister or whatever. So it just means that if everything goes off, then she can go and switch them on. And then she's got a torch to do it. Plus my mum's blind in one eye, so she's vulnerable. So you've got to think of all these things. So batteries is a must. So shop about, and if you find anywhere cheaper, let me know, because I've been buying my batteries on Amazon. So Dog Mom here is put fresh lemon can be used as a deodorant. Interesting. There's two guys in London, I think they're in London. There's loads of adverts about them. They're like theatre type of guys. I think they're a couple actually. And they developed some balm where you just put it underneath your armpit and it's supposed to be better for you, and it's got no nasties in. Have you seen it? And it's quite expensive, like, but I have been tempted at some point to get it, but I have been using nothing. I was going to get a crystal. My daughter-in-law told us that you can get this crystal that you can put underneath your arm as well, and that works. Because when you're looking into certain deodorants, there's a lot of parabens in the deodorants which can cause these nasty diseases. You know? It just get washed. So according to Cook here, Dollar Tree has cheap batteries. Deodorant is a must, yeah. Well, I mean, I shower and I bathe every day. Do you know what I mean? But some people possibly don't. But yeah, I've been very wary about deodorant since the breast cancer situation. You know, once you start looking into these things, they shouldn't be putting these things in, but they do. And parabens are in a lot of things. Use coconut oil. All right. You're a funny wee writer. We writers just put wash your bum. Okay. So, how do we go about planning it? I don't think I know many people who don't have something in the larder. There's not many people out there. But there's always something. If you're like me, there's always something that you're running out of and you have to go to the shop or whatever. But it's about maybe planning it, you know, depending when you get paid or whatever. And just basics, necessities. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be a lot. I like Lidl, all right? Aldi's all right, but Lidl is amazing, you know? I'm just reading some of your comments here. So I would say for a lot of the toiletries, you're best to go somewhere like Dollar Tree or Poundland. And sometimes you can pick cheap stuff up from Aldi and stuff like that. Somebody was telling me that the chicken soup or the vegetable chicken soup from Aldi was better than the Heinz. I love Dettol, Lucy. So Dettol, I'll show you what it looks like for people who don't know what we're going on about. I've actually got a big bottle of it. It was £4. I got it in Morrison's. But do you know that Dettol is poisonous to cats? I didn't know that. Dettol. So that's Dettol. A lot of us Brits use it. You just put like a little capsule or a couple of capsules in your bath. Have a Dettol bath if you feel you need to. Just like old-fashioned antiseptic. It's got a nice clean smell. Aldi's lentil soup is delicious. Yes. So you don't have to buy, it's shopping about. Jane says, yes, it's very bad for cats. So Albert's in Florida, and we add to the hurricane supplies every year. Been prepping since 1999. That's amazing, Albert. We'll have to get you on the show. That's amazing. You see, so I think you find a lot of older generation, because they came from the war as well. Always had something in the larder. My mum's Auntie Betty, if she was a funny one. So it was my mum's auntie, but we always called her Auntie Betty. And she had this walking larder, and she used to pickle things. And she pickled cucumber and vinegar, and it's a lovely smell. And she would have it in like a jam jars, and she would have it as you walked into this walking larder. It was lovely, but everything was pickled and labelled. It was just so lovely. It was just like an old-fashioned larder, and she would be shocked if she see my cupboards. I need to have a day off and sort it out. But I think sometimes the older generation just know, they know how to improvise, and they were very wise. My nana, right, she told me something, and she was so wise, okay? So I'm telling you something that's going to make you laugh. So my nana was from the north of England, and she was a tough woman. She actually made the parachutes in the wartime in the factories and that. So my granddad, my dad's dad, was also called Louis, because my dad's called Louis. And apparently he was a bit of a one. According to my nana, right, now this is not my words, this is my nana, God rest her soul. She said he was a hoa master. If anybody doesn't know what that is, just email us and I'll tell you. But anyway, apparently that he had gone off and done things, and so she chucked him out. She hit him on the head with a brown ale bottle, and he never come back. Apparently he ran off with the rent money. So she was left on her own. And you're talking in the 40s, it wasn't, single parents didn't get the help like they do now. So she was, she lived with my great nana. So my great nana was also the one who did the tea leaves and did the crystal bowl and all of that. And she was not just somebody who did the fortune telling, she also laid people out, and she was the midwife. She was the everything. Imagine like Catherine Cooks in 15 Streets. That's what she was like, okay? Where am I going? I'm losing the gist of the story. So I do this all the time. So my nana was somebody who had to make things last. So my great nana used to look after my dad, Louis, and my auntie Florence, while nana went out to work. And she worked also not in the factory, she also worked in all the bars along Scotswood Road. And you're talking it was a rough area, right? When I'm talking about bars, beer bars, where men spitting tongues, that type of thing. And but she used to buy out of her larder. And I used to say, Nana, what do you mean buy out of your larder? And you see, what you do is say if you get a tin of beans out your larder, you would you'd put it into a pot, what you paid for it. And then at the end of the week, when you bought out your cupboard, you got money to go back to the corner shop. Back then, it wasn't supermarkets, it would just be the corner shop. So she used to buy out of her larder. That's what she used to do. So back then, even when I was a baby, they didn't have central heating because I was born in the 60s. So they wouldn't have had central heating, they just had coal fires. But it was just different back then, so there was a lot of, we had hot water bottles in our beds anyway. It was the done thing to have a hot water bottle. So I definitely would recommend hot water bottle and flasks, and if you can, to try to get a little camping cooker. So they survived, you know what I mean? It just goes to show you don't need central heating. You really, really don't, When my mum and dad first left the forces, they had a little flat with just a coal fire, and then they had plug-in heaters, sort of electric fires, where they needed, when I was a baby, that type of thing. But she said that I was really healthy, and we lived right on the promenade. And it was a cold, damp flat. So it just goes to show you don't need to have central heating. I just thought I would say that. Petra, my father had a vegetable garden at home and my mother canned. How lovely. Everything was the best food ever to eat. I miss this food. I know. I remember, was it my dad's uncle Bobby? He used to grow vegetables. Uncle Bobby did. But Jim, my mum and dad's friend Jim and Lorene, they lived over the back. And Jim had a vegetable patch. Oh God, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the turnips were like huge. They were like bloody pumpkins. They were massive. But everything was different back then. Everything. So Anna's put here, I have a weakness for potatoes and pasta. Well then, if you've got a weakness, it's something that you could always stock up on. Going back to, we had the potato famine. Was it in the turn of the century or the 20s over in Ireland? I think it was the turn of the century, wasn't it? It was really bad. And it was America. The Americans what saved the guys in Ireland. And what did they introduce? Was it corn on the cob? They introduced something to help them. Because it was really, really bad. Don't ask me how it came about, because potatoes are so easy to grow. So I don't understand how there was a potato famine. It doesn't make sense, does it? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, I've grown potatoes loads of times in the garden, and I need to start getting my act together and start growing again. What I find really easy to grow is potatoes and carrots. So Jane's put here, the potato famine was caused by the Irish government, and I wouldn't be surprised because they're so easy to grow, so it must have been an interference with something, wasn't it? So the same type of potato that was susceptible to blight. Okay. Learn something new every day. So we all need to, what we writers put here, we all need to be looking after each other instead of attacking each other. I think we got so lost with everything to do with politics and stuff like that. And it's about everybody coming together. Because I was so shocked at the amount, I like food channels, right? I'm a very foodie person. And sometimes I'll watch what it's like, people who are shopping in, say, Russia or in supermarkets. Or I think I was watching something, and somebody was in China the other day. But the States, and how expensive. I'm shocked. I am gobsmacked how expensive your food is over there. Do you know what I mean? Extremely expensive, exactly. So you've just got to try your best, really. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So for me, I've got a lot of tin stuff, so I'm going to go through my cupboard, my larder, this week sometime, and I'll let you know, guys, what's staying and what's going. But please, as well, when you're buying stuff, if you're doing it for prepping, please check the sell-by dates, because I don't know if you agree with this, but 10 years ago you could buy a bag of pasta and it would have a longer sell-by date as it does now. It's also getting very expensive here as well, yes. But if you go to Lidl's, you can get some good... I don't think the States have Lidl's, do they? They do in Spain. I got a big bag of apples. I'm no word of a lie. They were like a huge bag of apples for a couple of quid from Lidl. You can pick some bargains up there. So Jeff Irwin here put blight in the spuds is maximatosis in the rabbits. I didn't know that, Jeff. You see how we're all coming together and we're all helping each other. So Aldi is the cheapest market here. Is that over in the States? So they've just knocked down. It was a camping shop. What was it called? Anyway, it was a camping shop, and it's been empty for ages, and they're building it now into a big Aldi. So that will be good. Just along the road from where I live. So lists. My mum's a thing for lists. Say they're military people, my mum and dad, and they're always doing lists. But it keeps your brain tidy. So yeah. So today, well, this week I'm going to be doing my cupboard. Then I've also got a walk-in cupboard where I've also got things I need to sort out in there, because I know in there is where my little camping cooker is and stuff like that. So Lucy Sterling, I don't have room for a larder, but I use a plastic type chest. Great, fantastic, which stays in my kitchen. When I say about larder, I can't even show you. It's just like a tall, skinny cupboard I've got, double. But it's enough for me and Adam. Do you know what I mean? What's Archaea Mom put here? You can also join a local co-op to pool money with farmers. Ours is 25 every 2 weeks for 3 bushels of food. Really? Wow. So freebies. So Google it, just put free stuff that you can get. And there's loads of companies out there where they want trials. You can do trials for, like, say, I don't know, like the new breakfast bar or the new bit of chocolate. You'd be surprised what you can get, what you can actually receive for free. So Humblebee has put, I love that. We made a homemade brick barbecue. I love them. And of course, if the going gets tough, you could also cook in it, yes. So, yeah, comment on the link what you think, guys, but I think that something's coming, and I'm going to get my cards out here before I go and check when this could be. So give us 2 minutes. So for me, for my household, because I've got a son who is vulnerable, I think it would just be a case of that if the lights went off, then I switch on the battery lights and make it as homely as possible. And long as he's fed, he'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? But everybody's situation's different. You know what I mean? There's a guy on YouTube, and he's called, is it Funky Prapper? He's ex-military. And these are the type of people that you need to be following. You know what I mean? It just depends. Everybody's different, So Inchworms here has put the cost of living is horrendous in New Zealand right now. Look for the specials to make a saving, yeah. So Humble P is put here. My whole house is decorated with glow in the dark. When could this grey zone event take place? Plus, as well, I want to say there's a lot of symbolism going on at the moment. Extraordinary. I got like an extraordinary feeling when I was watching Trump with Zelensky when they were sitting on them two stools, them two chairs, talking. It's got like a weird feeling. It's like I felt that something had been passed. Something was in operation. Something that we do not know. And Trump's behind it, but something's been passed. It's helping Zelensky. It's like something's been given to him or something's been passed. There's somebody else involved here as well. It's not just to do with Trump. That's what I felt, and I got it really, really strong. Right, okay. So we've got the Hanged Man. So it's just basically, it's like boom, straight away. It's gonna, like, I won't say paralyze her, but it's gonna stop her in the tracks. We've got 2 5s here. So I'm going on like timing here. It's gonna like affect the market as well. There could be a crash. The 7. And I said this a few years back, didn't I? I said there's going to be a crash. And they'll blame Trump. Well, it looks like it's going that way, doesn't it? Passed for peace, yes. Something's been passed. Big news to come out. Right, so we've got the 7 of Wands and we've got the 4 of Swords. That's 3, isn't it? 3. So we're looking at, let's working this out. 4 and 7, 3. And then we've got the 9. So it's between 2 to 3 weeks. Sorry, no. It's between 9, 2 to 3 months. So that's 10 to 12 weeks. 10 to 12 weeks. Just double check this. I'm being given rations. But if you think about it, we've wasted a lot of food, haven't we? In a household, how much does a household waste with food? It's going to be okay. Remember, there's different timelines as well, so it would be amazing if it didn't happen. Amazing. But I just feel something's going to crash. Something is going to happen. And some people won't be able to cope. Some people will be like flapping about it, because they're not prepared. But that's when communities will come together. That's when friends and neighbours will all come together. And then it urges, well, that if you have an elderly person in your street, just to make sure and check on them. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it's a case that we shouldn't have to always wait for a situation like this. Maybe we can make the change now. So if we'll make the change now, it just means that then it's just natural that if something like that happens, well, so what? Okay. The internet's gone down. We don't have light, but we've got light because we've got our battery lights. I think it's a case that we're just preparing for every situation. And say, for example, I said to you, oh, the lights are going to go off next week. So you would go rushing off and you'd go and get your battery lights or whatever. So what I'm saying to you is it not best to be prepared anyway? Do you know what I mean? So we will be all right, but I think that it's a new system what's coming into play. And I've said this all the way along. I think that the new system, I had written it down actually. Are you all right? Zizi? I'm going to have to go in a second. The new system that I had written down. Right, okay. Right, so we're going to have the Great Trade Bridge. And it's a wake of the global economic collapse. Nations that once stood apart will come together through the rise of a new trade bridge, right? This has got something to do with what happens after the tariffs. Then, before the new trade alliance can take shape, the world will first face a massive grey zone event. A sudden and sweeping economic downfall will bring about widespread instability. Power outages will blanket regions, communication will be severed, and a massive scare event will throw people into confusion. Whether it's a staged alien invasion or a military tensions or just orchestrated conflicts designed to disrupt the global order. Everything's designed. But as the world plunges into chaos and uncertainty, the foundations of the old system will crumble. Right? This is what you need to look at, right? And the grey zone will be a test of resilience, but it will also mark the end of the old God. The corrupt structures that sought and control the masses. The hell's that noise? Can you hear that? What the bloody hell is it? Sounds like somebody's using a razor. Can you hear that? Like a buzzing. Okay. The corrupt structures that sought to control the masses, this darkness will pass, and from it a new era of peace will rise. Then we will have the rise of New Earth. Okay, and it just goes on and on. I've written stuff about it. I've put it out on my community page if you just want to check it out, and it's on Facebook as well. Sounds like somebody's doing a bloody razor thing. Hello, hello, hello. It's a frequency. Okay. So again, we're used to the technology before everything shifts over. So it's a step in the right direction. Whatever takes place, it's a new technology what's coming into play. You are tracked. Oh yeah, that'll be right. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. New financial system. Okay. But trickery will take place to get with it. It sounds like an electric razor, doesn't it? Anyway. So it's all part of the plan. All part of the plan. I'll be back on again soon, guys, and we'll look into more. But stay safe, stay vigilant, stay calm, and start prepping. Just go through your cupboards when you can this week and see what you can. You know, even if you've got like a big bag of pasta, that can last a canny while. Do you know what I mean? Rice. You can pick up rice, you know, different shapes and sizes. Get the great big bags. Is your son shaven? I doubt it. He's like the Yeti from Borneo. His hair's there and he's got a great big bloody beard. He's like the Yeti from, like, you know, the Yeti from the basement on Friends. He just looks like him. So I don't know what's going on. Lots of trickery about to take place. I'll get this sound thing sorted out as well the next time we come back on. But stay safe, stay grounded, stay live in the here and the now, and yeah, you don't need a lot of money to prep. You do not. We'll all get through this together. I hope that's helped, guys. Until the next time, may the force be with you all. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.